the broker's cost. Because I think that's an important one to discuss here. I think that has already been subject to some discussion, reading the various articles, and some of the brokers contacted us saying that we have underestimated the broker's cost. Others basically contacting us saying that we have overestimated the broker's cost, which is interesting. Clearly, there will be some costs for brokers connecting to multiple trading platforms, and clearly the costs are likely to vary by broker. For some of the brokers, those costs can be quite significant. For other brokers, those costs may not be so significant in comparison with, for example, their revenues. So just a few comments, just to put it into context. Clearly, it's not a cost that all the brokers will incur. There is already a trend towards consolidation in the market here in Brazil. So in our CBA analysis, we're not assuming that all 100 or 89 brokers will incur those costs. There is a trend towards consolidation. Also, if you look at other financial centers where brokers have access to multiple trading platforms, it's often a subset of all the brokers that have access to multiple trading platforms. So looking at the experience in, for example, Australia and the UK and other countries, we have assumed that between 24 and 44 brokers would have direct access to some of the new trading platforms. Another thing to bear in mind is that surely connecting to new trading platforms will result in some operating expense, but potentially also in capital expenditure. If you want to incorporate that in a CBA analysis, what you do is you basically spread it out over a number of years, and that's exactly what we have done in our analysis. And then I think there have also been some comments about the back office cost, and we have referred to that in our study. It's fair to say that in case of access to a new CCP, there are, of course, some great challenges, basically, in relation to the back office, and I'm referring here to Sinecor. So the cost in relation to changing the back office may be significant. That depends on lots of different factors, but that is something to bear in mind. If we look at, so just about the significance of those costs in the sort of CBA, to what extent does it really drive the findings of our CBA analysis? Well, in the conservative scenario of fee reduction, so limited reduction in fees, the broker's cost can be significant, and that may result that the total cost will outweigh the benefits, and therefore you get a negative result of the CBA. However, if you look at more significant fee reductions, and if you also look at market will grow over time, then it is more likely that the benefits will outweigh the cost. So clearly the costs are not insignificant. And finally, in this discussion, we should bear in mind that there are certain limits, and it's very interesting to look, for example, at the experience in Europe, where multiple or various trading platforms entered the market. And brokers, yes, incurred significant costs basically in connecting to those trading platforms. But the key question is, how does that affect the end investors? And if you look at the evidence in Europe, you see that brokers did incur additional costs. However, it did not mean that overall investors were worse off. They were actually better off. So the net effect of this is still positive to end investors.